Today, we become legends.
So Martichoras is almost here. We're going to be getting full patch notes tomorrow, but for now we have a Dev Insights closer look post on the Smite game website. I'll link the full post down below for those that are interested in giving it a read, but I'm going to be going through everything that's important for it in this video. And so yeah, I'm sure you guys are all excited to see what Smite's new hunter has to offer, and yes, he will be a hunter. I know a lot of people are speculating he might be an assassin or he might be a mage or something. He's definitely going to be a hunter, so that'll have some ramifications for the god lineup further down the road, you know, in terms of what gods we're going to get later on. Probably Ishel is going to be the mage, I would imagine, but yeah, let's just jump right in. So we've got a little bit about who he is. I'm pretty much just going to summarize this because I don't want to read the whole thing. But yeah, he is going to be a Greek physical hunter, so he's not going to be like a new Persian pantheon, which is what some people thought it might be, you know, in the data mining. It was like, maybe it could be a Persian pantheon, but I guess they don't want to introduce a pantheon for a god that they just, like, are only going to have one of. They probably don't have any plans to add, like, any other Persian gods, so they were like, let's just throw him in Greek, why not? Because he's kind of, like, Greek and Persian, in a way. And so, yeah, Greek physical hunter, interesting. The Martichoras was allegedly a blue-eyed, human-faced wild beast of India. It was the size of the largest lion, with cinnabar red fur. It has 3 rows of teeth, feet, and claws like lions. It also has a scorpion-like tail with a terminal sting that measured over 1 cubit, plus 2 rows of auxiliary stings, each a Greek foot long. The sting was instantly fatal. So yeah, typical Manticore stuff. Basically, by the time this god like actually came around, everyone had already talked so much about like the Manticore and like whether they liked or disliked the idea of it being in the game that like everyone knows what a Manticore is at this point. Yeah, so basically some Greek guy, Stetias, he went walking through Persia and apparently encountered the first Manticore that was ever recorded. Somewhere in India, and basically detailed all of its features. They called it Martichoras, which is like the traditional Persian pronunciation of it, and apparently a mistranslation from Aristotle's work called it Mantichoras, and then that's where we get the name Manticore, like a bit of a mistranslation there. And they say Martichoras is the first Manticore ever recorded. He is the Manticore. In Smite, he is the most ancient of the Manticore species, and thus the most powerful and respected. He is the king among these terrifying beasts, and is eager to take revenge on the gods who have treated him like a simple animal for too long. This little paragraph here just feels like a little bit of a response to the controversy about the release, pretty much. You know, like, he's the Manticore, guys, don't worry, it's not just a random generic beast. Like, personally, I don't even care about that stuff. I was never, like, I mainly care about the kit, to be honest, and how the god looks. I don't care too much about whether it's the Manticore or whether it's a Manticore. I don't really care about that, but a lot of people did, and this paragraph feels like kind of a response to that, basically. Martichoras serves as not only a unique type of creature god, but also has a strong connection to the history of Smite itself, of course, you know, being one of the jungle camps and training bots and stuff like that. For year 10, we wanted to create a creature that evoked a strong mythological origin and also honored 10 plus years of Smite gameplay updates. So yeah, similar to Surtur, it's kind of like a little bit of fan service in a way. Creating these two for the Season of Monsters. The Marticore was the boss enemy of the original Smite tutorial map, dating all the way back to the closed beta period. It was no simple jungle boss though. It had AI-like abilities like a god opponent. Yeah, so we actually saw like a god reveal as well, like a troll god reveal on April Fool's that has like 2.4 million views or something, so a lot of people are seeing that. It was removed and replaced as many upgrades took place across the game, but it wasn't forgotten. It had a brief stint as the original arena mode boss NPC, and then it was featured in an extremely popular YouTube video, yeah, the April Fool's one, which was one of the most watched videos on the official Smite channel of all time, and many players have longed to see him return, but with a serious treatment of a new god. The time has finally come to return him as the first creature hunter in Smite. Yes, that's pretty cool. I think the idea of a creature hunter is pretty interesting, because for the most part, hunters are just like humanoids that are often quite agile, you know, have a lot of movement or whatever, and stuff like that. So a big, like, lumbering beast in the ADC role, I think is something that's very interesting, you know. When we originally got some data mining on this and we thought maybe Polyphemus was going to be coming as a hunter, that was kind of a similar thing, because Polyphemus was a giant, and so I think having something like that in the ADC role give a little bit of differentiation to just the standard, like, mostly just humanoids that are in that role. So theme, the Man-Eater. Martichoras stalks his prey carefully, ready to pounce at any moment. When the time is right, he strikes with razor-sharp claws and deadly venom, and then feasts. Visuals, the Manticore King. He displays all the key expectations of a Manticore, but with added detail and visual interest to show his prominence within the species. Yeah, so generic Manticore, but with a lot of like cool stuff added on to make sure it's worthy of a god slot. Martichoras is intelligent and calculating, but he still has the hunger and instinct of a beast. Through great discipline, he has turned those into his strengths, not his weaknesses. So yeah, a bit of a combination of like the, you know, human head with the intelligence, and then like the beast-like instincts and strength. And then perspective, underestimated, Martichoras has the element of surprise. The gods ignore him and think little of him, but Martichoras will soon show them how wrong they are. Just confirming how he's going to be a broken god release, boys, right? Yeah, so basically saying here, creatures will always create interesting challenges, and they're comparing them to like Cerberus and stuff like that, you know, how to, like, on a technical level and like an animation level, create a hunter that kind of works like this. Some rough, like, sketches here. The wings look really cool. I really like the kind of spiky wings, to be honest. Definitely, I like this one with, like, the bone, like, helmet. That looks really cool. But yeah, they're saying they started to move away from the more agile and bat-like versions of the god. The Manticore would be a hunter, but they didn't want him to be too frail or aerial. So yeah, they wanted to kind of like focus more on him being like a bit of a lumbering like beast style thing. We decided that he would move mostly through walking and would attack by slinging spines from his tail. So we designed around those elements. So that's what's going to be his basic attack, I would assume. You know, he's going to like throw like spines, probably like we saw in the teaser trailer. Whereas like a spike like hits the wall, that's probably what his basic attack is going to be. So some more like refined concepts here that are much closer to what like the actual god is going to be. A bunch of different face designs with like horns, some more human looking ones or like even elven looking ones, and then some more like slightly beast looking ones. And then a bunch of different designs in terms of like wings. Mostly it's the wings that have changed here, but a couple of other things as well. And then yeah, these are, I assume, like kind of finalized sketches. This is pretty much mostly what the god's going to look like in game. Obviously this is a 2D drawing. It's going to be like a 3D model. It's not just going to be this in game, but this is like kind of like the refined final version. We got a bunch of reference images here, like some dreads. The backlight glow up effects, presumably that's kind of like what we saw in the trailer with like the really like bright jade like spines and stuff like that. But yeah, let's get into what you probably all came for, and at least I definitely came for, some of the gameplay information that we get from this post. So Martichoras is going to be a traditional hunter with some very unique twists. He is designed to best perform in the dual lane carry role, but he could likely branch out into mid, as many hunters often do. That's interesting. So I made a video yesterday speculating that maybe he might be like a sort of jungle designed hunter, given that he's a beast, and also some of the references to him stalking through the jungle in some of the promotional material. But I guess they're not actually intending him to be played in the jungle. Maybe he'll still work there, but definitely not intended to be. Martichoras is a larger, beastly hunter, and his playstyle is designed to match that. He focuses on high damage output and facing opponents head-on, as opposed to being more evasive and controlling. Yes, that makes sense. You don't necessarily want such a gigantic lumbering beast to be super evasive or anything like that. So unique gameplay features, a new type of basic attack damage that is dealt less on the initial hit but applies a ramping stacking damage over time buff across multiple successful hits. So that's pretty interesting. Gonna incentivize him to be like in fights longer, you know, not necessarily just like jumping in and basic attacking twice and then jumping back out, kind of like hunters do in the learning phase. Maybe he's going to be looking to more sort of like go hardcore in on people and like land several basic attacks in a row to get like max value out of this. In the data mining, it does say that the basic attack damage over time applies when his passive stacks are at max, and we'll get a bit into his passive later, so I don't think it's going to be constantly that this is applying a damage over time, but it could be, and it could just be that the data mining is slightly inaccurate. He has a unique type of stim passive ability that stacks on successful hits and ramps up over longer matches. So this is interesting. In the data mining, it says that it gives physical power, lifesteal, and ability lifesteal, and also can slow somehow, but maybe that's on the basic attacks. You know, maybe once you've got to full stacks of your passive, your basic attacks will apply like a small slow depending on the damage over time or something like that. And interesting, successful hits and ramps up over longer matches, so maybe it's a kind of Surtur style thing where like you can get more and more and more of this physical power, lifesteal, and ability lifesteal over the course of the match. So if the game goes like 40 or 50 minutes, maybe you have like an insane amount. An ability that you can place and then explode with a follow-up attack. So yeah, in the data mining we have something about this as well. Martichoras' next basic attack fires an explosive spike, and that will root and reduce healing. So presumably he'll explode it with either a basic attack or some kind of follow-up ability. Probably a basic attack, I would imagine. And then that will explode and presumably root people in the area. Sounds very Chernobog-like, to be honest, with his 2-into-1 combo. The ability to summon Stealth Grass for himself and his team, yeah, so pretty much we kind of knew this was going to be coming based on like the teaser trailers with all the stealth and the grass and stuff, and also a little bit from the data mining. It's probably going to be his 3. It's a deployable that increases movement speed and also maybe attack speed in the area, and it'll stealth you from the outside. And he has no traditional dash, leap, or movement ability, so this is going to be his only way to kind of like keep himself safe or get into and out of fights and stuff like that. So he is going to be a bit more stationary than your typical hunter, sort of like basically a turret. You know, he's just going to stand there, and maybe he can stealth himself a little bit, but he's going to pretty much just going to stand there, land multiple basic attacks on you with this new type of basic attack damage, which stacks over time, and kind of get his value that way. Little to no hard CC, only a slow and a conditional route. So yeah, that slow sounds like it's going to be either on his basic attacks or on his passive. You know, basic attacks maybe if he has his passive up or something like that. And then that conditional route is going to be on this explosion with the follow-up attack, which I believe is going to be his 2. And finally, an ultimate ability that features his wings in a flying/hovering stance. So I'm pretty sure this is what we saw in the teaser trailer, where like he had that massive hail of spines that came down on the minion. Pretty much, I'm almost certain that's going to be his ultimate based on this. Like, he's going to fly up and then shoot like a massive hail of spines down on people that deal damage. In the data mining, it says it reduces physical protection, so presumably if you're in the area, or maybe if you get hit by, depending on the number of spines you get hit by potentially, if it's more of like an Apache thing where it has individual hitboxes. I'm not sure if that's going to be how it works or not, but you know, maybe the more you get hit by, or just if you're in the area in general, it's going to reduce your protections, and so it can kind of shred you after initiating with that ult. And also a flying hovering stance. Don't know if that's just going to be like, he kind of like lifts off the ground slightly, but it's still targetable, or if he's going to full on fly into the air like a Freya style thing and actually get like immunity, or not immunity, but like untargetability. That's pretty interesting. That could be a way to keep him safe when he has no like traditional dash or something, because Freya doesn't either, but she can keep herself safe a little bit by banishing and also by using the ult to like self-banish for a few seconds. So yeah, I have to say, I'm not super hyped about this. I'll be interested to see the kit tomorrow, but it's a hunter, so in general, I'm not really like super interested in it, and there seems to be some kind of cool mechanics here, but I don't know, I'm not that interested in this design, to be completely honest. But it concludes with saying, there are many legendary beasts across the pantheons, and selecting one for our roster is no small task. Our specific desire to add a true creature hunter while also referencing Smite lore at an equal level as the mythological lore led us to this new god. Bring out your carnivorous spirit and get ready to devour some gods with Martichoras, the Manticore King. And yep, that's all we have for him so far. There's going to be full patch notes coming out tomorrow, Wednesday, so that will be pretty interesting to see like the full kit reveal, and I'll do a video like doing a kit overview for him like I always do. These notes, this dev insights will be linked down below as well if you guys want to give it a full read, because I did skip over a few things, especially like the sort of design aspects of him. I mainly wanted the kit info and how I was going to look. But yeah, excited to see him in game. Let me know if you guys are excited about it too, and I will catch you guys in another one later on. Have a great day, and peace out, you nerds.